that's VIP Gang, and welcome back to the VIP Lounge, where we gain value, impact, and purpose. Today, I want to talk about HIV and AIDS and how it can affect people with disabilities. Since we don't have a lot of people talking about that, and we are going into December, the month where we celebrate World AIDS Day on the 1st and International Day of Persons with Disabilities on the 3rd. Now, I just want to highlight some of the challenges that we face that people don't really talk about. And one of the major challenges is access to HIV education and services. There is limited access to information. Like I said in one of my videos, that alternative formats in which information is being passed is limited. We need to have a setup where pamphlets and brochures are also inscribed in Braille, large print, and also sign language. I want us to have a situation where if we're gonna have a sexual reproductive health workshop, more people with disabilities are able to attend, because I've noticed that most of the workshops that I attended in college, some of them, a lot of people with disabilities would not attend. And I know that people with disabilities have developed an attitude that some of these events they don't attend because there's never information that is being passed and handled in such a way that is accessible. And another problem we face is limited access to services, healthcare services in terms of prevention and medication. We are not trained or being taught on how to access medication. We're not being trained on preventative measures from AIDS and other STIs and STDs. There's limited access to infrastructure. Our healthcare system needs to do better in terms of making medical facilities more accessible. We need to remember that there are mobility aid users that need to be able to access the buildings. I've also noticed that at some of the workshops and seminars that I went to, the environment, the venues were not accessible for my mobility aid users, whether the wheelchair users, the crutch users, and so forth and so forth. We need to ensure that whenever we want to create awareness campaigns or host an event where we're just educating people on sexual and reproductive health, we are doing it in accessible environments and in accessible formats for people with disabilities. And then another common challenge is societal attitudes. I don't know where society got this notion that people with disabilities are not sexual beings. You can go to a clinic looking for contraceptive pills or even condoms. If people see that you have a disability, let's take me for example. I've been to places where I've been questioned, like, people are surprised, like, what? You actually are sexually active, why do you need birth control pills, or why do you need barriers, why are you collecting condoms? and things like that. We need to start accepting that people with disabilities are just like everybody else. The same way that we have different races, different ethnic groups, the same way we have different complexions, the same way we have tall people, short people, the same way we have thick people, the same way we have petite people. It's one and the same thing with people with disabilities. The only difference is that people with disabilities have specific needs, be it medical attention or equipment for them to be able to live a somewhat normal life. We need equipment or aids to help us do other things that people without disabilities do, right? So let us normalize being there for people with disabilities. Let us be more supportive and sensitive, because I know that HIV is not just contracted through sexual contact, but there are many other ways of catching the virus, and I just think we need to be a bit more sensitive and compassionate, and also understand that HIV is not passed through sitting next to that person with it, or talking to that person with it, or even shaking their hands. It's in the bloodstream, not on the outside. So let us stop being discriminatory. Let's stop stigmatizing people that are living with HIV, because there are a lot of people out there who are amazing, who are doing great things, and who are taking care of themselves as long as they have access to medication, they're doing all the things that they need to do, go for regular checkups, take their medication, lead a healthy lifestyle, which we all have to do, by the way. Exercising, which is also recommended for all of us. Besides that, those people are just the same as us. Unfortunately, it's a double trouble. It's a double situation. Already you have a disability, and if it gets known that you have HIV, it's even worse. People just pull away from you, you experience social isolation, and I know there are some people that do that on purpose, who are extremely overprotective of their family members with disabilities and living with HIV. And they just don't want people to be mean to them, to bully them. But life has to go on, and we just need to learn to accommodate people and their uniqueness and their challenges, because we all have challenges, they're just different. And then another challenge which I've also noted is lack of awareness on prevention. I think we need to make our workshops more accessible. I'll give you an example. I've been to several workshops where the peer educators were only specifically talking to people without disabilities, people that can see. So they will do their demonstrations with their models and their mannequins and all these other equipment and items. And I will be automatically be excluded from that, because I can't see what they're doing. I can only hear what they're describing and explaining. And mind you, there are people who are born blind already, so they have no idea what it means to be able to see something. And then there's people like me who are partially blind, but I can only see things from a very, very, very short distance. If you see me using my phone, It's literally like I'm going to stick my phone in my eye just for me to be able to see what's on the screen. So even though people with visual impairments have a wild imagination, there are some things that are difficult to visualize. So this is just a tip to my peer educators. When you're gonna be doing your demonstrations, demonstrating how to put on a condom, demonstrating what the female ring or condom or diaphragm looks like, I think it will be ideal for you to also give those items to visually impaired people so that they get to touch them and feel them and get to understand what they are like, the texture, the design, and as you are making them feel those items, you begin to explain to them how the items work. And in some cases, let us also have peer educators who demonstrate how to put on a condom with their little, what is it called? I'm forgetting what the little item is called. But anyways, those things that you use to demonstrate, take somebody that is visually impaired, and as you're doing the gestures demonstrating, make that person that is visually impaired to actually grip your hands and feel what you are doing so that they get to understand what is happening, because explaining or describing is not enough. Many of us don't even understand what is what. I remember there's this one time where we had a workshop. I can't remember what it was called, but we were being taught tactile sign language. Sign language is not only just about teaching people hand gestures and movements. You can teach someone who's visually impaired how to use sign language, but describing, telling them, do this to your hands, do that to your hands. So because I got friends that are blind, some of the descriptions and explanations they wouldn't understand because they don't know what major fold your hand means. They don't know what treat your hand like this means. So it's best to actually take a person's hand and say, do this to your hand, do this to your hand, hold this thing like that. Even when it comes to acting, my apologies, I'm digressing, but I just want you guys to understand. Even when it comes to acting, whatever you're going to be doing, whether it's facial expressions, if you're going to be frowning for a certain scene, frown and make a person who's visually impaired touch your face and feel it. I know the skin on your face is very sensitive. You're not supposed to be touching your face, yada yada. But that's why we have sanitizers. That's why we have water and soap. Just wash your hands with soap and water, thoroughly dry them, and then you can do all the touchy feely stuff. Okay. Now, moving on to the other challenge is societal attitudes again against medical facilities. Earlier on, I alluded to the fact that we're going to have a lot of people that have trained to use sign language, or even people who have just done special education, so that they have a better understanding of how to handle people with disabilities in medical health facilities, right? So the other challenge is the general public has a way of twisting things. It's so difficult to walk into a clinic and say, I, I need guidance on family planning, or I'm here to give me some protection items people are obviously gonna look at you and be like, what? You, with that kind of a disability, how do you even engage in sexual activity? How how do you even have a child in your situation? So let us stop judging and discriminating and stigmatizing people with disabilities, and let us not be shallow-minded. Let us treat them like everybody else. Just a little bit kinder and more compassionate and empathetic. And what else? Oh yes, I wanted to also talk about how if you walk into a pharmacy and you have specific medication you're looking for, a person with a visual impairment cannot tell which pill is the right one to take, because from what I understand is that we've got birth control pills, there's the control ones, there's the secure ones. I've never seen what those pills look like, but I know that they're pills that have the same shape, the same design, but they're those with different colors. We've got white, we've got brown, but for somebody who's totally blind, how would they even be able to distinguish that this is this type and this is that type if we don't have braille labels on the containers or the boxes? I mean, South Africa is doing a better job at that. South Africa, if you walk into a pharmacy, you see Panadol pills that are written Panadol in both print and braille, so it's easy to identify that this is the actual pill that I'm supposed to be taking. I don't want to have to go to somebody's sighted. I mean, I also deserve to have some level of privacy. I don't want to have to be going to, for example, I stay with my dad. I don't want to have to go to my dad and say, hey dad, which pill is this? Is this the white one? Is this the brown one? Which one am I supposed to take first? And then, like, that is just so odd. That is just the weirdest thing ever. So it's important for us to incorporate those strategies to make sure that sexual reproductive health education is accessible to people with disabilities. If I happen to leave out anything in this video, please do feel free to comment down below. Let me know your suggestions, your thoughts, even your own experiences, whether you have a disability or you don't. If you don't have a disability but have come across somebody who went through something challenging when it comes to health awareness, please do let me know in the comments down below. What was that like for you as a person without a disability? Watching that or seeing that, what did you do? Is there any way that you help that person? And if you have a disability, also let me know your stories, your experiences, and what do you think needs to be done to improve our healthcare system in Zimbabwe, and how we can best improve access to information when it comes to issues to do with AIDS. But that is it for this video, live. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys deep, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!